Today we're going to learn about multiplying fractions, and we're going to start with learning how to multiply by a unit fraction. A unit fraction is a fraction that has 1 in the numerator. So let's dive right in. Let's look at number 3. 2/3 is the same as saying blank times 1/3. Now, my product gives me a clue. I can look at my numerator and find my whole number. I can look at my numerator and find the whole number. So 2/3. What number is in the numerator? Yeah, 2. So it's the same as saying 2 times 1/3. Now, what I've taught my students to see is when you see a whole number and you're multiplying by a fraction, I'm going to put that whole number over 1 because that's still saying 2, but this way when I multiply, I'm multiplying straight across, and I see that 2 over 1 tells me 2 wholes. So let's look at number 4. 5/6 is the same as saying 5 times 1 what? Well, I'm going to put 5 over 1 first. That way I don't try and multiply by more numbers than I have. So 5 times 1 is 5. 1 times what gives me 6? You're right, 6. So 5 times 1/6. Ooh, now this one's tricky. 4 halves. It's going to ask me to write a multiplication problem for this. So, again, my numerator tells me a clue. What number is in my numerator? What number is that? You're right, it's 4. So I'm going to say 4 over 1, just because when I'm writing a multiplication problem, it helps me to see what numbers I'm working with. You can leave it just a straight whole number 4, but I prefer to say 4 over 1 to say 4 wholes. 4 times what? What do I know is going to be my denominator, that bottom number? Oh, you are so smart. It's 2. And I know since it's a unit fraction, that unit tells me there's only one of it. So it's 4 times 1/2. Number 6. Do you think we can rock it? I think so. Look at your numerator. That gives us a clue. 6/5 is the same as saying what? What would be my whole number? You're right, it would be 6. Times what? What would be the fraction piece to it? 6 times 6 times 1/5. You're so right. You are so smart. Now, let's look at some context problems, some problems that use either a model or an actual problem. So, I'm going to look at numbers 8 and 11 to start with. Number 8 says 3/6 equals 3 times what? 3 times 1 what? So that 3 is my whole number, right? That's my numerator. Times 1 out of how many pieces? How many pieces did I have? You're right, 6. 3 times 1/6. Now, let's look at number 9, or number 11. 9/6. 9/6 is the same as saying what multiplication statement? Look at your clue first. What is your whole number? Look at your numerator. Find your whole number. You're right, it's 9. And I'm going to put 9 over 1. 9 times what? You're right, it's 1/6. You're so smart. Now, I want to look at one more problem. I'm going to look at number 15. Number 15 says, the picture below shows 6/2 pairs. Write 6/2 as repeated addition and as a multiple of a unit fraction. So I'm going to write 6/2 as a repeated addition statement and as a multiplication statement. So first off, I'm going to label them, and I'm going to write right on top of those pairs. 1/2, 1/2, 1/2, 1/2, 1/2, 1/2. When I use repeated addition, it's the same as saying 1/2 plus 1/2 plus 1/2 plus 1/2 plus 1/2 plus 1/2 plus 1/2. So I can go in between these pairs, since I've labeled my pairs, and I can write addition signs. Now, I want to practice my skill. I want to say this as a multiplication statement. Do you think you can help me say these words as this problem as a multiplication statement? Let's go. So again, find your clue. I'm going to set a problem up. 6/2 equals what? My clue is my numerator. You're right. It's 6. 6 times, what would my fraction piece be? You're right, it'd be 1/2. Because again, I'm multiplying by a unit fraction. That was tricky. But thanks for helping me figure it out, math detectives. I'll see you again really soon.